Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle, your host of the Industry Edge podcast, where we talk to leaders working in the hardest working industries like manufacturing, distribution, construction, material handling, and more. Today's episode is brought to you by KNC Marketing. KNC is a full service marketing agency that helps B2B industrial companies grow their brand and increase sales. To learn more about KNC's brand development, web design, and marketing services, visit kncmarketingagency.com. Joining us today is Jason Sain, aka the Construction Sherpa. I'm interested to hear more about that. Accomplished business leader in the construction industry with an impressive track record of success. At the executive level, he has overseen construction teams and projects ranging from one into the hundreds of millions. Jason has led initiatives that have resulted in establishing high-performing teams, optimized operations, and major revenue growth. And now he helps leaders in construction achieve the same success. As the founder of One Degree, Jason helps construction companies improve people, processes, projects, and profits, and implementation of strategic small improvements. Today, we'll dive into Jason's career journey, his insights on leadership, and how he helps businesses grow through his proven process. So, Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, I'm honored and thrilled to be here. Thanks.
Great. So tell us a little bit about you and who you are and what you do.
Yeah, sure. Grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. And at my high school, there was only two colleges, Auburn or Alabama. So I chose Auburn, graduated from there in 99 through the building science program. Graduated and got married 4 days later. Still married to my beautiful bride, and we have three girls and a foster daughter as well. So surrounded by girls. And my wife and I have lived in 15 houses, traveled around the country. We've been married 25 years. But I was a traveling healthcare project manager building hospitals around the country. Um, and Built hospitals in the Grand Cayman Island, Puerto Rico, all across the United States, along with um, commercial projects as well. Yeah, lived in Naples, Florida for a long time, and moved up to Nashville here and launched an office for a firm that I was an owner in 2016, and then launched One Degree just a year ago last week.
Wow, congratulations on your 1 year anniversary. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So it sounds like you were interested in construction in college and that's what you graduated in. So tell us about the early days of your career and what that looked like.
Yeah, my dad and granddad started a civil engineering firm, so I grew up all around construction and all during the summers. I worked on the survey crew in the hot summers of Alabama. So just all surrounded around it. And all growing up, my dad had told me, son, do what you would do for free for a living. And I'm like, well, Dad, I want to hunt and fish. And that didn't pay very well. So I went into construction and yeah, just really loved building hospitals, really. Loved building buildings and the strategy and the complexity of it. But building hospitals was like the Navy SEALs of construction. So traveling around the country, all of my girls were born in different states because we would just pick up and move. But it's definitely just been ingrained in me from a young age, the construction industry, and love it.
That's great. So you had a big transition from where you started to now, and you end up in an executive role for these massive construction companies. So what are the faces that you challenged in those executive roles and along through your journey? What are some of the things that you faced?
Oh, wow. Every day was different, but I mean, some of the major challenges was construction technology. There's so much construction technology out there, and there's amazing technology. And it's before you know it, you grow and you have a couple hundred employees, and everybody's using something different. So that was a challenge, trying to balance letting everybody explore and be innovate, but also have consistent data. So construction technology is a major challenge. because there's really so many options out there. Um, as you scale and as we grow, we started in Naples, Florida, in one of the firms I was with, and before you know it, we had 5 offices. So as you grow from 50 million to nearly 500 million, maintaining the culture, right, as you grow and you're building projects all around the country, making sure that you have a consistent outcome on the projects because they're not all within driving distance of your office. Certainly hiring and onboarding and even offboarding and just maintaining that consistent culture on the projects as you grow, and hiring the right people that's just so important. You can't invest enough in that process.
Mhm.
And then thirdly, I would say establishing a clear path to what I would call a win or a successful project, communicating in writing in a clear and simple way, what I call SOPs or core processes, and making sure that the expectations are known for the people that are leading the projects, as well as the subcontractors, of what we expect and how we expect it. We want to design the project once, and we want to build it once. And if you do any of those things more than once, you can have a bad experience.
What was looking back on your career in those roles, what was your most proud accomplishment of those days?
My most proud accomplishment, honestly, any time that we achieved in construction what's called substantial completion, is when we substantially completed the building enough to where the local jurisdiction deemed it approved for the owner to occupy it. That was a proud day, right? When I could build a building where the client at one day had a dream of building this, whatever, medical office building or hospital or school or apartment building. There is a day where you hand them the keys and say, okay, the building's yours. Because there's just so many hours in preparation and meetings and strategy that goes into that. That never got old. That was a great day.
That's awesome.
Every time that happened.
I bet. And I know that's a huge impact for every community that you are involved in as
Right.
well, because you're serving, opening up medical capacity in any community is such a
Right.
blessing to that community. That's great. So, what led you to eventually want to help other owners and leaders in the construction industry?
Yeah. So in my career, I really focused on the project management side, the financial side, establishing core processes or SOPs, having a clear and simple plan for success. And, I just had a passion for that. And I kept having people in my life tell me these exact words: Jason, you have a unique skill set. And I was like, no, 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 I don't. And I just kept hearing people say that to me, those exact words over and over again. And I was like, well, maybe I do. um, so I'm a huge bow hunter and love to bow hunt and target practice and deer hunt. So the concept of 1 degree, and if you are aiming at your target and you're 1 degree off, you're going to miss it. And there's so many alignments there with construction and giving a commitment to an owner that I'm going to be done in a certain amount of time. And certainly there's parallels with your life and what direction and what's the final destination you want to be at your life. And so came up with 1 degree, and then it took me about 15 seconds to come up with my mission statement, which is to enhance the lives of those in construction, both at home and at work, 1 degree a day. So it's just very, very important to me that the people that I work with and consult with, that I add value to their life as a husband and a father and a mother and a brother and a sister, and in addition to a project manager and superintendent and CEO.
Mhm. It's great that you see the value of, what happens at work also impacts your home life and Having that
100%.
perspective, having that perspective, I'm sure is really key for the people that you serve. So you mentioned the challenges that you faced in your prior roles in your career. Are those the same challenges that construction companies and leaders face today, or have those challenges evolved in any way?
They certainly have evolved. There are a lot of improvements. So typically, the construction industry is behind in their innovation and technology compared to other industries. It just is behind. There certainly have been great strides, but I would tell you that those same parameters are still an issue with construction companies. And my target audience, my target market is actually the ones that have not solved it yet. And what I'm trying to do is step in, and while they're trying to solve those issues, help them solve them quicker than I did.
That's great. So you mentioned you are the Construction Sherpa. What does that mean?
Yeah, yeah. Love that. There is some very brave people um, that trust and hire a Sherpa to guide them up, a very dangerous mountain climb. They've never met them, they don't know them, and they just trust them. And as the Sherpa has preparing the way for the individuals to make this treacherous hike, the Sherpa has already made the hike, and they've actually laid down ladders and safety rails, and they're making sure that the path is safe and clear. And they're also an encourager, right? There's certainly moments I can imagine on a mountain where the Sherpa's like, come on, you got this, we can do this. So I've kind of earned the nickname the Construction Sherpa, with just guiding companies and people and leadership, as well as the people on the job site, to help them navigate growing a business and technology and job descriptions and bonus plans and organizational development, leadership training, how to hire somebody, how to unfortunately fire somebody.
Mhm. So in our introduction, we mentioned your four P's and small improvements, which um, play into the 1 degree and Sherpa theme. So tell us about the process you take when you're meeting with a new construction company and you're assessing the current state of the business and making a plan for how to be their Sherpa and how to get them to the next level. Talk to us a little bit about your process, those 4 P's, and how it plays into the actual plan coming to
Yeah,
life.
yeah, sure. So the first thing I do is I have a 30-day audit period or discovery period. And that 30 days is for me to do one thing, and it's to develop trust with the people. Um, Look, not very many people get excited when the leadership tells the company, hey, we have a construction consultant coming in, and he's going to be sitting down with you, asking you questions. They're like, what? I already have a busy day. you know, so yeah, the first 30 days is meant for me to become a team member, become part of the company, and to develop trust with the actual people that are doing the work. I want to figure out what gets them stuck. And at the same time, I'm getting to know them and their personality, and it gives me a sense of what the leadership of the company assumes is the problem. I actually get in and figure out, is it actually the problem, right? Is it a process issue, or is it a people issue? So that's what the first 30 days looks like. And then after that, I will meet with the leadership and give them an executive summary and my opinions on what I'm seeing. And then we will develop a very specific plan and schedule to address, whatever the issues are. And along with that, typically there's a grocery list of items that the CEO wants to improve or accomplish that benefits the company, that's on his list on January 1st. But by the time we get to June, the list isn't done because he or she is running the business.
Mhm.
So I also will take those from leadership and actually do them, and then give them back for their review and approval. And they can use them after I leave.
Okay. So we're looking at people, processes, projects. So you help them assess their current projects and what the gaps are there.
So inside of the each project, right, there are some attributes of a project. No matter what project you build, I've got to hire subcontractors, or I've got to hire vendors. I've got to order materials. I've got to get an estimate. I've got to get a insurance policy. There are certain things that happen no matter if I build a house or a hospital. And digging into those processes and finding out what are getting their people stuck and what processes need improving is just a skill set that I have, and I'm able to figure out very quickly how to do it with what software, or you may have the right software in place, but the wrong person there. And certainly if they need SOPs written or processes written or a scorecard, data analytics, anything, I'm able to either do it myself or bring somebody on board with me to accomplish those goals.
Before we get to the profits, the last P, talking about people, processes, and projects, I imagine all of those topics can be touchy for you're coming into an organization, change is starting to happen. Um, how do you recommend a leader manage those changes in a way that is either non-threatening or encouraging? Like how do you make change without causing your team to get threatened or scared along the way?
Yeah, that's a great question. It just goes back to building trust. Look, everybody has the same question. Are you for you or are you for me? And it's not until I have convinced the person across the table from me that I am for them. It's at that moment that any improvement that I make, they'll believe in it and buy into it because they believe it's for them. It's for their benefit. If they do not believe that I'm looking after their best interest and I'm coming in there just to make a dollar, just to improve the bottom line for the company, right? They're not going to buy in to these improvements. And the improvements have to be small, 1 degree, small, and 1 degree here today can be 180 degrees tomorrow.
Mhm.
So I highly recommend small changes, small improvements, and over time they will multiply and add up. But yeah, you just have to develop trust, right? Which is made up of character, chemistry, competency, and credibility.
That's great. And how does all that play into ultimately profits for a company, a construction company specifically?
Yeah, look, if you've got the right people, you've got the right processes, which is a playbook, right? And then you have to have projects. You have to have, projects. You have to convince somebody to build something. I don't want to say the profits just come, but the profits do not come if you do not have the right people, the right processes, and the right projects. So there's certainly a balance and a recipe there. But I can tell you that a term that I use, fee erosion or profit erosion, or losing money, normally will happen with one of two things. Somebody made a poor decision, or I don't have the right person in a leadership role, or I don't have a process to accomplish that task. And normally those are the two variables that I see. And if there certainly is no silver bullet, but addressing those two, in my track record, I will get more projects. If I have the right people and the right processes, people will just want you to build for them. And I'll be able to maintain our estimated fee, or maybe even a little bit more, if I can focus on the people and the processes.
At what point along the process do you start to see internal teams get excited about the change? and the changes that are happening in the business?
Yeah, I can tell you right here on my cell phone, when I start receiving text messages from the actual individuals using these new tools, the people in the field, right? That is so encouraging and is such a blessing. Because at first they're a little hesitant, who is this guy and what's going on? But literally, I the other day received a message off LinkedIn from an employee's spouse that reached out to me to thank me. I mean, what an honor. The impact and the influence that I'm able to have on the people. Look, the reality is construction is hard, and if they have a hard day at work, it affects them at home, and a hard day at home, it affects them at work, right? I don't believe in balanced load and 50-50. I want everybody to give 100% at home and 100% at work. I don't want a balance. I don't want 75-25 or 50-50. So that's the point that I know, okay, this is working. And the first couple clients, when that happened, I'm like, hey, I am truly living out my purpose.
Mhm. So I know you're extremely passionate about purpose and helping others implement their core values into their companies. Why is that important?
Uh, without without a mission, without a vision, without core values, without a rally cry, I would wrap those three things in a rally cry. Without everybody knowing why are we making the decisions that we're making, why are we in this market, why are we pursuing these type of clients, why do we want to make these decisions? Without everybody knowing the rally cry or the purpose of the company, I think people will tend to make their own decisions based upon what they think is right. A high-performing team, a high-performing company, everybody's rowing in the same direction, right? Everybody understands the mission, vision, core values, and one of mine is truth, and another one of mine is grace. Well, it's really hard sometimes to give somebody grace and to tell them a hard truth.
So
Right. Well, yeah. So I want my family to know, hey, I want to know. Sometimes I have to tell you the truth, but I want to do it in a loving way that shows grace. Wow, if everybody knew that, right? Right. If everybody knew that, I think that the communication would be so much better. So look, establishing the core values and the mission vision of the firm, and then launching that to everybody. That's not easy to do, but I think it's a pillar of a high performing team.
I totally agree. Um, Give us some advice for our listeners as we come to a close. What is your biggest advice from anyone starting out in construction to an executive? Maybe some of your biggest learnings or things to focus on. What can they do to make an impact in their business?
Never stop innovating and improving. Always continue to sharpen the axe, right? Always continue to sharpen the axe. It's been so healthy for me to learn from other markets, other leadership, other executives that are not in the construction industry, how they handled COVID, how they handle offboarding and onboarding, and to get out on the job site. That's where the rubber meets the road. Get out on the job site. I'm working with a client right now in Huntsville, Alabama, and the CEO of the firm has challenged all the leadership for one day this year, actually go out on the job site and serve. And that's incredible, right? So get out on the job site, and because that's where your people are working, the processes actually happen, out there, and that's where the projects are. So yeah, visiting the job sites. Um, And I would also say, from a technology point of view, software point of view, there are just some incredible pieces of software out there that can help you scale, the data analytics side of construction has given me a new perspective on, in order for me to make a promise to you, I'm doing that based upon assumptions. And I need real data and reliable data to make real promises, real and reliable promises.
Mhm. Do you have any rhythms or routines outside of work that make a positive impact on your day and how you arrive to work, whether it's a morning routine or something that you implement in your day to day that makes a big impact in your life?
I do. I do. It is the first 15 minutes of my day. People refer to this as their quiet time with the Lord. I call it my loud time. Not quiet time. It's my loud time. Even though I am quiet, yeah, I spend 15 minutes and definitely have a Bible study. And I find myself praying about the impact that I can make on these people and the clients and the projects, and certainly my family and daughters and career. But yeah, that starting the morning off that way, and then I swim about 6 days a week and swim for about 30 minutes at the local Y and try to get some exercise. Um, and then this past year, for a solid 12 months, I've been intermittent fasting. It's been crazy how it's helped me out throughout the day. So yeah, those three things: spending time with the Lord, exercise, and watching what I'm eating, I guess.
Great. And I'm sure making time for hunting and fishing when you can, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Bow hunting for sure. I guess that's a fourth.
Well, to wrap it all up, we've been talking with Jason Sain, the founder of One Degree. Jason, tell people where they can learn more about you or find you online.
Yes, absolutely. LinkedIn, please just type in Jason Sain, Sain. My website is www.one degree.cc. CC stands for Construction Consulting.
Fantastic. Well, Jason, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome. Thank you.